Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to Storytime with Isha. This is our first virtual book club, and we are going to be discussing Spare by Prince Harry. I'm still getting used to this recording thing, so bear with me. Hey, who's out there? Say hello in the chat. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is give Spare a rating. I say that it's an 8.5 out of 10. Hey, Prudence, welcome to the book club. So I thought it was really good. Um, I didn't give it a 10 because parts of it honestly was a little bit unbelievable. And I know he had a ghostwriter to work with him, so I don't know how much of these stories are really true. But it was very well written and entertaining. And I would like to start by giving 3 words that kind of epitomize the book for me. Prudence, did you read there? While Prudence is thinking about responding, my 3 words to describe this book are heartbroken, savage, and thirsty. That's what I got from the book. It's okay, Prudence. I do recommend it. You should read it. Maybe you'll catch up for the next book club. So, heartbreaking, savage, and thirsty. Heartbreak, heartbroken because that's the vibe that it gives throughout the whole story. Um, it was even kind of there before his mom died. He, the title of the book is Spare, and that's what he was thought of. He was the younger brother of the heir to the throne, and he was always treated as the other, the spare. So there's this heartbrokenness throughout his life. And then Savage, because I think he took that anger and that desire to be seen and loved and turned it into a fight. He was very aggressive in his younger years. He fought with his brother and his peers, and he was pretty savage. He talked about how even though he was a younger brother, he sometimes would have to take up for William, who was older and bigger than him. That's one of the stories that I don't know if I believe, but he claims that he protected his brother on many occasions. And then the third word I chose was thirsty. And I say that because Because of his heartbrokenness, he was longing for love. And you kind of see that throughout the book that he's wanting to be accepted, wanting to be loved by his family, by the world, and then, with women until he finally met Megan. And that story, he does go into detail about how they met. And I had always heard that it was a friend that set them up for a blind date. And that's not entirely true. So he saw Megan one time in London and asked who she was. And then their mutual friend gave Megan his Instagram information. And so Megan jumped in his DMs. That was surprising to hear because I cannot imagine Prince Harry handling his own Instagram. But she sent him a message and he responded. So that was kind of shocking. My dog is trying to be part of the show. So that's how their little relationship started. Megan jumped in Harry's DMs and they talked on there and exchanged numbers. And then they ended up going on a date, and the rest is history. The book is broken up into three parts. The first part is a lot of his childhood, and then the second part is more of his adulthood era. And then the last part is mostly about his relationship with Megan and leaving the royal family and everything that came after that. Um, but another thing that I took as an overall theme from the book is Princess Diana pulled the curtain back on the monarchy. Prince Harry pulled the curtain down. Like some of the stories that he told, I know the royal family was just like, what was he thinking? Again, I don't know if all this stuff is true, but he got real personal with some of the stories. And it gives you a look into how the family kind of functions as an institution. Um, a lot of coldness, very businesslike, and he never really fit into that. And it makes more sense of why he was just so willing to let it all go. What did I learn from this book as far as a personal message? The personal message that I took was to keep going. Our stories matter, which is the main theme of my YouTube channel. Storytime with Misha is about my story, other personal stories, and reading about other people's stories, such as in Spare. And so that's what I took away from this. Our stories matter. Our stories provide hope, happiness, and knowledge. And so, despite if your story isn't for everybody, you still should tell it anyway. You never know how you affect someone's life, even if you can make one person smile or inspire one person to go after their goals. You should still tell your story. You never know how it can affect someone. One of the things that I kept hearing about the book is that Prince Harry sounded whiny, And the first part of the book, it yeah, it gave me again, part 1 was a lot of his childhood. So, he was telling what life was like as a kid growing up in the royal family. So, yeah, it does sound whiny, but that was his experience. A lot of things that he complained about might seem inconsequential to us, but that was part of Harry's story, and our lives are probably nothing like growing up in the royal family. So, if he wanted to complain about being followed around, having to ask for permission to do certain things, yeah, that was his life, and he didn't like it. So he has every right to be whining about that part of it. The best part of the book to me was him talking about Megan, my dog. The fervor that Harry has for Megan is what I desire for my future mates. If he's not getting what Harry is getting, I don't want that man loves Meghan Markle. Since the first day he saw her, he was in love, and that was his woman, and he went out there and got her. And just hearing how he talked about how they met, it really brought a smile to my face. I was just grinning the whole time, reading about how nervous he was and kinda shy when he was meeting her. It's like, "You're a prince. What are you nervous about?" But I thought that was so cute. Another good part of the book was kind of a sad part. He talked about how he felt when Queen Elizabeth died. But I was happy to know that he was able to talk to her 4 days before she passed, and they were on good terms despite everything that was going on with him leaving the monarchy and him and his dad and his brother not getting along. He seemed to have a good relationship with his granny, and their last conversation was happy and pleasant, so that made me feel good to know that at least they were on good terms before she died. I know that she was a big part of his life. And overall, I tried to find the similarities in the royal family to just anyone's regular family, and they're a lot more alike than most people probably realize. He told some stories about his dad and how his dad interacted with him and how he did certain things because that's what his dad had taught him. So I kind of feel like that's part of any family. We learn how to parent from our parents, and good or bad, that's the same experience that Harry had. Some other similarities were sibling rivalries, dealing with peer pressure. Him and William fought a lot in their younger years, but that's what we do with our siblings. You have to learn how to share and get along, and then for them, it was a lot of extra pressure because everyone knew that one day William was going to be king. So Harry was always looked at the other or the spare, and that's something that's very different what people have to deal with. But overall, it was a good book, 8.5 out of 10. I would recommend that you read it, Prudence. Any questions, comments? I think 8.5 is a high rating. It's not the best book I've ever read, so I couldn't give it a 10, but 8.5 is pretty good. I did not actually read the text version. I listened to the audio, which was really cool because Harry was narrating, which is not real common with audiobooks. A lot of authors don't read their own books. So it made it more personable listening to him actually tell the stories. So I recommend the audiobook or the text version. But those are my thoughts on Spare by Prince Harry. Everybody go out there, read it. I'm gonna be posting our options for our next book club, so stay tuned for that. Let me know if you have any suggestions, and until then, I'll see you next time.